Hello and welcome to Freedomstein Laboratory. I feel like I should start doing like the dates with this. So we are on November the 25th. And unfortunately, this is the week of Thanksgiving. And apparently, Candace Owens is taking the whole week off. So there are no Candace Owens show this week. So yesterday, when I was talking about, she's probably talking about the French Foreign Legion and the money that's exchanged and how they're coming after her right this minute while I'm talking. Yeah, she wasn't. And so I saw on X that she was taking the rest of the week off here or the whole week off. And I thought to myself, wow, what a way to drop a bomb and then run. But I guess that's Candace for us. But I do have a couple of other things that I wanted to talk about. First of all, I come from Florida. So Pam Bondi had been my attorney general here in Florida. And while I liked some things she did, some things I was not so happy with. She was great when it came to the opioid crisis and going after these pill making mills that we had here in Florida. She's been great when it comes to sex trafficking. And we had some mortgage fraud weirdness going on that she kind of did some good stuff with. And then there was some controversy in there, and there were some donations for her campaign with Trump. And I don't know what all was going on there. But one of the things that did upset me is that she was fighting gay marriage back when it was becoming law. And her whole reasoning for this was that, the sanctity of marriage, and she had to fight for that and everything. And I thought to myself, well, you're divorced. So what sanctity of marriage? Uh, you know, if you can't do it, then don't tell gay people that they can't give it a whirl. Then I did go on to get my own divorce too, but I'm married again and everything's great. But I don't think she is ready for prime time, or should I say national service. She was great for the state, but man, is she sucked on the national level. I had really wanted Matt Gaetz, but clearly he was guilty of the things that they caught him doing. That's why he didn't try to run for Congress again and why he didn't want to be the AG and pulled himself out of that. He knows he's got dirt on his feet. So he was like, I'm out. I'll just go do my own show. So I would have preferred him to her, but obviously this was not going to work since he had some bad stuff going on there. I just didn't feel like she would be right. And clearly that has proven to be fact. When it came to the Epstein thing, here's some binders. I've got all the Epstein stuff here for you. And then people opened it up. I kind of laughed a little bit because of all the influencers who thought they were, wow, look at how cool I am. And I'm so great. And they're giving it to me. Look at how big I am. And they all look like a bunch of fools because the information was already out there. She didn't give anything new. And then when she was questioned about this stuff, she was like, well, I have the Epstein files on my desk and we're still waiting for whatever was on her desk. I mean, apparently they're going to release something, but, we all know if there was anything in those Epstein files that was really going to make anybody look bad, it was shredded, burned, buried, who knows, a long time ago. So that's gone. We're never going to know the truth there. They're not giving us anything when it comes to JFK, MLK. It just goes on and on and on with all these promises and nothing. Well, now we have her latest F up. And let me go ahead and play this little, I guess, news conference that she was participating in. And I don't know how you screw this up, but she managed to do it.
Unexpected, so.
Okay, and then if I could just get your reaction to the James Comey, Letitia
Sure.
James cases being dropped today back in Washington. James Comey put out a video. He said this matters most because a message has to be sent. The President of the United States cannot use the Department of Justice to target his political enemies. Your reaction to the cases being dropped into that specific message?
Sure, we'll be taking all available legal action, including an immediate appeal, to hold Letitia James and James Comey accountable for their unlawful conduct.
What is your reaction to his statement?
I'm going to keep going on this. I'm not worried about someone who has been charged with a very serious crime. His alleged actions were a betrayal of public trust. So.
Nothing
Be unexpected.
Wow, that's great, Pam. Um, so apparently, whoever the attorney was that they put in charge was a temporary replacement, something like that. And the judge said, you can't have this person who's not the one that is going to be the official lasting one or something. I'll put this in layman's terms because I'm not a lawyer either. Apparently, whoever was in charge of those cases couldn't be in charge of those cases, so the judge threw everything out. And I'm like, how did you not know that that was going to be an issue, number one? And then I'm trying to figure out why that was an issue. Because the way I look at it, if you have, I mean, how could you have anybody in there then? Because it takes time to get somebody who is not like an interim or what have you. So can that person like not do anything? So what is the point of having an interim if they can't carry cases forward? I think the thing that is the most frustrating to all of us, and I don't think it really matters what side of the aisle you're on, is that these guys always get away with everything. It doesn't matter, Republican, Democrat, whatever. It's like they can do whatever they want. But if we were to do it, we'd be in jail. You try claiming your second property that you might own as your primary residence, also, or saying that your father is your husband, and see how long you stay out of jail or out of trouble. These people, we get all these promises and then nothing. It's like we keep standing here going, are you ever going to put anyone in jail? Ever? I mean, how many times can you screw this up? Trump loves to fire people. He's really good at it. Why? What is it about Pam that he just cannot say, you know what, you're not fit for the job, get lost? It's you tried and it's not working. I kind of feel like since I'm a woman, and I know it's hard to tell that I am blonde, I have a lot of gray in there, and it definitely is darkened over the years, and I don't dye it a blonde color. But I feel like that makes it so that I can call her a bimbo without it being, hey, you can't do that because I'm blonde. So if I'm calling her a dumb blonde, kettle black, but I'm not a dumb blonde, I don't think. Maybe you think so, but all right. So let's move on to the next thing. Okay, so for people who don't know, this is just like my little side project. I really love it, and I'm going to keep going with it, even if nobody watches. I mean, there's a few of you. If you really love it, please subscribe and like and all that good stuff. I'm over on Rumble too. I need to get more subscribers over there so I can actually have Freedomstein Laboratory as my name rather than a letter and some numbers. But anyway, I have another podcast and it's about the paranormal. It's haunted history. History Goes Bump if you want to check it out. Anyway, 9 million downloads. It's very popular. It does really well. But, I wanted to talk a little bit about politics too, and I don't bring it in over there. But sometimes those two things kind of crisscross over each other. And we're getting into something a little paranormal here. I don't know how many of you recall, and this is a true crime thing too, but was it back in 2014? There were these three young ladies. Well, at least one young lady, and then these two young monsters, I guess. They took their little friend out, and they said that they really liked this Slender Man, and that Slender Man had told them to kill their friend. And so they ended up stabbing her. Thank God they didn't kill her. And then these two girls went to jail, and one of them ended up in a asylum, is how I like to call them. I know they don't call them that anymore, but at a mental health facility. And apparently, they said that she's been doing much better, so she could get out. And yeah, that didn't work out very well. So it says here, this is from CNN. In January, a judge had ordered Geyser, her name is Morgan Geyser, that she could be released from the Winnebago Mental Health Institute, where she'd spent nearly 7 years. Now, the prosecutors wanted to block her release, saying that she'd been reading gory novels, she'd been communicating with a man who collect murderabilia, and so she's probably still dangerous. But this county circuit judge said, no, I'm going to order her release, State and county health officials completed a community supervision and housing plan. So they said, yeah, we could put her in a little community home. She'll be just fine. Well, police in Madison, Wisconsin announced they were searching for Morgan Geyser, who was last seen in a residential neighborhood on the west side of the city around 8 p.m. on Saturday. That would have been this last Saturday. So let's see, 24th, 23rd, 22nd of November. And she was with an adult acquaintance. She had disappeared Saturday night after cutting off her monitoring bracelet, police said. Oh, I thought those were supposed to keep you, on the straight and narrow. Authorities later said in an update they received confirmation around 10:34 p.m. that Geyser had been taken into custody in Illinois. So she had managed to get from Wisconsin to Illinois. Apparently, the pair arrived from Wisconsin by bus. On Sunday, officers in the city of Posen, Illinois, responded to a report of people loitering behind a truck stop building and discovered a man and woman sleeping on the sidewalk. Geyser initially gave officers a false name when they confronted her. After continued attempts to identify her, she finally stated that she didn't want to tell officers who she was because she had done, quote, something really bad, like trying to stab my friend to death, and suggested the officers could just Google her name. Yeah, they're probably like, Morgan Geyser doesn't really ring a bell. They Google her name and go, oh, crap. So Carly Mecca, the person with Geyser at the time, or I guess it's Charlie needs an E in his name. Charlie Mecca was the person with Geyser at the time of her apprehension. He told CNN affiliate WKOW Monday more about their friendship and why Geyser left her group home. Mecca said they'd met in church and gradually became friends. Permission was granted for Mecca to visit Geyser at the group home, and the two saw each other almost every day for the past month. It's a true love story, folks, I guess. Mecca told the station Geyser wanted to leave the group home because their visitation time was going to be taken away, and the decision to leave happened quickly. Police body camera video obtained by CNN shows Geyser telling officers Mecca had no prior knowledge of her plan to escape, except for he probably had to bring the thing that cut your monitoring bracelet off. I'm thinking you weren't given those kinds of things. Look, if somebody's got a monitoring bracelet, you probably don't let them near some scissors, knives. They probably really should not let her near any knives because, she stabs people. So anyway, she waived extradition. So she's going to be sent back to Wisconsin. And they have to figure out now what they want to do with her. Are they going to put her back in the group home? She going back to the mental health facility? I'd say send her back to the mental health facility. She clearly is not okay out in a group home where she cannot be adequately supervised. Look, I understand they were children. I think they were 12 when these two women stabbed their friend almost to death. But 7 years is not enough. It's not enough. And you're lucky you're in a mental health facility rather than in jail, because you probably didn't get it as bad as you should have. All right. And then the other thing that I wanted to share with everybody is Tucker is out here just, making the Republicans angry again by speaking true words. I'm going to play what he had to say here, see what you guys say, and I'll make some commentary on this as well. But pretty much, I feel the same way that Tucker does. I'm about done with these Republicans.
Republican Party, which is almost to the point where it's just useless, and I'm going to have to oppose it because I hate them too much, but because they're such betrayers. But anyway, in the Republican Party, it's like, you a socialist? Are you from Mondani? No, not really a socialist. Just, I don't want any more dollar stores. I don't want high density housing in my neighborhood. I don't want any more fucking strip malls that nobody goes to. No more karate studios and vape shops. Like, how about no? Ooh, socialist? You don't believe in the free market? Because you bribed a fucking county commissioner to build more garbage? You don't even live here? Mm-hmm. In a normal society, we'd burn your strip mall down. You can't do that here. You can't turn my women into prostitutes. Sorry, OnlyFans. And you can't destroy the landscape that I live in. No. How about no? That's not crazy, is it?
No, it's not. I mean, no.
And you can't take all my tax dollars and then refuse to do anything about child molestation. The whole reason you exist, county commissioners, is to protect my daughters from getting molested, but you won't because, like, why?
So it looks like he's there with Shawn Ryan talking about this. I have to say, um, I agree with him on a lot of that. Now, obviously, he has some kind of issue with the county commissioners or whatever and putting up all these strip malls. But basically, if you lower everything to a certain standard, that's what you're going to attract into a certain area. And I think that's why we're seeing a lot of what's happening with these big cities. On the flip side, while I'm done with the Republicans not getting anything done, there's no way that we're looking over at the Democrats because we already see how big blue cities get run horribly. Crime is up, affordability, forget about it. It's just, it blows your mind. Uh, we have a local radio guy who does, he's basically a DJ, but he does politics in the morning and he's actually conservative, which is really nice. Rick Stacy here in Florida. I enjoy listening to him and I got a chance to listen this morning. And they were playing this audio. I think it was an Asian guy who he either owns the nail shop or he works in it. And this woman who is on EBT and all that stuff came in and was just getting in his face and harassing him and just being really rude to him. And he was like, and he'd had it like a lot of us. And he was like, look, I see you got an EBT card in your purse. My taxes are paying for you to come into this nail shop. You know, getting your nails done is a bit of a luxury, especially if you need EBT to buy your groceries. Maybe you shouldn't be going to get your nails professionally done. I don't know. It's just like we have some of the richest poor people in the world here. They all have phones, they've got TVs in their house. You know, the definition of poor or people who were poor back when I was a kid is way different than today. A lot of them live way better than we do. And now you can buy all kinds of EBT stuff on your EBT card. You know, it used to be the basics, the stuff that you really needed. And now you put all kinds of crud on there. You know, Robert Kennedy Jr. was like, we've got to get the soda and the candy and stuff off of there. You need to eat healthy food because we also have some of the fattest poor people on the planet. They certainly don't look like they're not, you know, that they're missing a meal or two. But I wanted to look to see what other people had to say here underneath, you know, let's see, it was Luke. Oh, I can't see the name there. There it goes. Rudkowski had posted this. And so he was asking, you know, do you agree with him? And a lot of people underneath there really do. Says, of course, it's proven itself to be an arm of the deep state. And aren't they all? It's just like it seems like they're all working together. Now, Julie Lewis here disagrees with Tucker, but, you know, she's also got the that certain here, this right there. So I could see why she just would disagree with Tucker at all. And of course, she's pointing out, like I said, I mean, if it's a local thing, it's not necessarily the national political party, but we know they're an issue here. If America were run the way DeSantis runs Florida, conservatives would be happy. Doing this at the federal level is much harder, especially with weak leaders like Johnson and Thune. That is one of our major problems. When you've got these kitty cats that are running the show in the Senate and the House, it's no wonder we can't get anything done. And right now, great points here. At the moment, Trump, Johnson, and Thune are failing. So we got the president and Congress. Voter ID? Nope, we don't have any federal voter ID. Doge, gutted. Congress and Trump do not like accountability and transparency. Epstein list fully disclosed? Nope. Reduce federal spending? No. What do we crossed over to 38 trillion? And we're well on our way to 39 trillion. Congressional term limits. Johnson and Thune, of course, are never going to go for that. They're never going to vote themselves this. I wish we could get this on the national ballot. I used to be totally against term limits because I'm like, no, people can vote and they will vote these people out if they want to get them out. But clearly, either we have a bunch of idiots who are voting or I don't know what, because when you have people that are in there for 40 years and all they're doing is getting rich and nothing is getting done for you, how do you continue to let them have the same job over and over and over again. That's when you say you're fired. Clearly, we're surrounded by idiots, so we have to have term limits to get rid of these people. Reduce H-1B visas? Nope, not going to do that. We're going to drive all of these other illegals out, but we'll still let these other people from these other countries and not give our American citizens a chance. You know, they keep pushing the whole STEM and wanting to get all these kids into STEM and all this stuff. Well, what hope do they have if they go into that of getting anything when you keep bringing people over from India and stuff and saying, well, we're going to give the jobs to them because we just have a bunch of doomkoffs over here that can't handle those jobs. Now, closing the border, they at least got that done. But trying to ship these people out, This person also makes the point, AJ, Trump style of agree with me or I will primary you and call you names is not working. In fact, it is backfiring on him. And when you run people like Marjorie Taylor Greene out, it's not good. And it was so funny. After she was like, I'm out, then he was like, well, she was really good and I really enjoyed her and da-da-da-da-da. And this test, yes, we knew the GOP was garbage, but now Trump sold out MAGA to them and Israel. So there really is nothing left. And it really does kind of feel that way as we all just keep getting more and more blackpilled. So what do you guys think? Are you done with the Republicans as well? Is there still hope? I don't know. Seems like voting is just not going to be, it's not going to get us there. That Rick Stacy I was talking about earlier, he also, one of his co-hosts was talking about that the Republicans were going to lose the midterms. And he's like, don't say that. That's not going to happen. And I'm like, yes, it is. As of right now, unless something amazing happens, the Republicans are going to lose the midterms. Trump will be impeached over and over again, just like before. Nothing else will get done. And then I have no doubt that in 2028, we will have a Democrat president, probably Gavin Newsom. The socialists will get more dug in. I mean, look, President Scott Mamdani coming into the Oval Office and going, yeah, he's not such a bad guy. There are times when you reach across the aisle, and then there's other times where you don't. The man thinks you're a fascist, and a little bit after that meeting is busy telling a national news program, yeah, I think he's a fascist. I mean, everybody thought it was funny that Trump's like, yeah, just go ahead and say it. It's easier. I mean, I honestly, you said you weren't going to fund him at all because he wants to use all the money to give a bunch of free stuff away. And now you're like, I'm going to work with him to make New York great again. Okay. The only thing I can think of is you're trying to twist his arm so that you can build bigger buildings in Queens and have skyscrapers over there and just build up and up and up. I don't know. But I'm like, just, it's not a good look, President Trump. Let me bring the socialist in and be buddy-buddy with them. I don't know. All right. Well, I want to thank you guys for joining me on this episode of Freedom Stein Laboratory, where the beakers and the flasks are always bubbling and roiling, and who knows what we'll be talking about next. You guys have a grand evening.